clean slate for Vera House announcing a new CEO. What we know about that woman.
And raising questions about honors classes in schools, who they help and why some districts are doing away with them.
You're watching NBC3 News at 6. Winner of the Edward R. Murrow Award for Overall Excellence.
We're tracking serious flooding in parts of central New York after some heavy rainfall today and a little bit yesterday, too. Good evening. I'm Matt Mulcahy.
I'm Megan Coleman. Rain moving in across the Northeast, turning deadly in parts of the Hudson Valley downstate. This is Orange County. A woman in her 30s is dead after being swept away while trying to evacuate her home. The governor says there are people unaccounted for across the state. Some places are seeing up to 8 inches of rainfall. Here in central New York, parts of Oswego County seeing several roads washed away and a state of emergency now in effect. The on-ramp to I-81 South in Parrish was shut down due to high water, as was a portion of Route 104 in Mexico. The impacted stretch was between Sandpipe and Emery Roads.
Morgan Scott is live with Weather Authority 1 tonight, tracking some of the flooded roads in rural sections, mostly of eastern Oswego County. Morgan?
Matt and Megan, I'm here near Ward Drive in the town of Parrish, where, as you just mentioned, you can visibly see on a lot of these roads the impact of that heavy rain and flooding. If you take a close look behind me, you'll see this road here covered in water. It almost looks like a river flowing, just an overwhelming amount of water going through this particular road. Earlier, our photographer Josh and I even saw one man walking down this same road, and he eventually had to stop once he arrived at the flood. He ended up calling for someone to drive towards him because it was just almost impossible to walk through that water without soaking up his clothes and the items he was carrying. Earlier, I spoke with the highway superintendent, who says he has not seen anything quite like this in his experience on the job. But he also says the real work for them will come tomorrow in the aftermath of all the water we see now.
We have been cleaning culvert pipes, putting up barricades for people's protection where the roads are flooded. And that's pretty much it in general for us at this point. Our real job is going to come tomorrow after the water goes back down, when we can assess our problems.
Now, the highway superintendent also added that neighbors should steer clear of any of these flooded roads, and we'll continue to drive across the town of Parrish, and we'll give you updates along the way. Reporting live in Parrish, I'm Morgan Scott.
Yeah, that water can cause a lot of erosion, Morgan, around those roads, so highway superintendent makes a good point. Tomorrow will be a big day to check it all out.
All right, let's go over to meteorologist Peter Hall in the Weather Center now. Pete, we're seeing what it looks like where Morgan is. What else are you hearing about?
Well, I mean, Oswego County is the epicenter in terms of today, although it's not as bad as what Canandaigua got yesterday and what Orange County downstate also had over the last 12 to 24 hours. They saw in Canandaigua about 3 inches of rain in 1 hour and over 5.5 inches of rain in a 12-hour period, which was good enough for a 1 in 500 to 1,000-year event. So that is something that is eyebrow-raising. What you're looking at right now is a painting by the radar showing you where the heaviest rain has been. And it's right in there, north of Syracuse. Look at that, right where that orange is. That's the area where it was the worst, between the 69 and Route 104 corridor and between 69 and 49 in Oswego County. Even the Route 31 corridor, this red area between Baldwinsville, Cicero, and Bridgeport had a lot of heavy rain. I haven't heard about flooding there, and technically we have a flood watch until 8 p.m. But Oswego County, yeah, not seeing any more rain of note. The heaviest rain is to the east. It'll stay there and only slowly move. Outside your window, there might even be a pretty sunset just at around 8:45. Otherwise, clearing sky gets set for a total turnaround tomorrow and way warmer, 89. Stanley lost Skywatch, Regency Tower camera, still silvery in the sky now. So we know tomorrow is way warmer. It's also sunnier. But how about the next several days? We'll check next. So obviously we are in weather alert mode now, but we do expect that to end by later this evening. Guys?
Well, thank you, Peter. Tonight, Syracuse nonprofit Vera House announcing its new CEO after nearly a year of turmoil at the agency.
DeQuetta Jones is from the Albany area. She's describing Vera House as someone with extensive experience in nonprofit and human services leadership. The agency choosing her after a nationwide search that was announced back in April. I-Team reporter Mary Keeler's investigation into Vera House leadership started in August of last year, thanks to a concerned viewer who called our newsroom. Mary then uncovered an agency secret that was hidden from the community, staff, and people Vera House served. The group, tasked with providing support and services to survivors of domestic and sexual violence, knowingly hired a level 2 registered sex offender to work with those victims.
Now, following our reporting and a state investigation, Vera House was ordered to pay back grant money used to pay the salary of that sex offender. Then, longtime executive director Randy Bregman agreed to an interview with us last summer.
You stand by Vera House's decision ultimately to hire Marcus Jackson.
I do, and I think that we would make a similar decision again if somebody came to us, acknowledged a 20-year-old sex offense.
Since then, both Bregman and her co-executive director Angela Douglas have left their roles with the agency. Douglas never answered any questions, nor did she explain her role in that hiring to the public. Now a new face will lead the nonprofit after a nationwide search. I-Team investigative reporter Mary Keeler is back with us tonight. She joins us live to share what she has learned about this new hire. Mary?
Well, according to the nonprofit just hours ago, DeQuetta Jones is set to officially begin her new role at Vera House in September. I spent the day learning more about her and her qualifications before she steps into this new role, leading an agency in need of a fresh start. This video on YouTube from 9 months ago shows DeQuetta Jones talking about authenticity in the workplace.
I describe myself as a philanthropist, an advocate, activist, connector, motivational speaker, mentor, consultant, executive coach.
Jones is now preparing to take on the role as CEO of Vera House in Syracuse. In the announcement, agency leaders call her a, quote, compassionate, inclusive, and equitable leader, adding she has experience in counseling and compassionate care that makes her a, quote, perfect fit to lead Vera House into the future.
I have served runaway and homeless youth in foster care, victims and survivors of domestic violence, individuals living with HIV/AIDS.
Jones comes to Syracuse from the Albany area, where she previously worked as a domestic violence counselor for Unity House. That's an organization similar to Vera House in the Capital Region, where the mission is to provide services and support for those struggling in the community. This is Jones in April 2021.
Failing to acknowledge the racial bias in policing that exists in Troy.
While working in a leadership role with the Justice Center of Rensselaer County, she spoke out against a plan to hire 6 new police officers in the city of Troy.
The city of Troy needs community investment, not more police. And the community did not ask for more police.
Jones will help usher in a new era after nearly a year of turmoil for this agency. Leadership resignations and still lingering feelings of betrayal from some who learned through our reporting that the agency knowingly hired a registered level 2 sex offender to work as a victim advocate, then kept that hire a secret from those he counseled and those he worked with. Onondaga County District Attorney Bill Fitzpatrick resigned from the Vera House board. In January, as Vera House began its search for a new leader, Fitzpatrick shared his thoughts on what a new leader should bring to this position.
Truth, fairness, assistance to women and men, and in some instances children. Make sure that the mission is justice.
We have continued to follow this case nearly a year later when we first brought this reporting to light, and we know that the state agency that helped secure the grant that paid for Marcus Jackson's salary when he worked at Vera House, they have confirmed with me that all of that has been recouped and got back to them in full. And we want to remind people as we talk about all of this, Vera House has been and is open if you need services or resources and need to get out of any situation that you feel unsafe in.
Live in Syracuse, I'm Mary Keeler.
And now this is the start of perhaps the beginning of rebuilding fully their reputation for the good work they've done in the community. Mary, thank you.
All right, well, coming up on NBC3 News at 6 tonight, improvements to Oswego Harbor. We'll hear from the Oswego Mayor, Billy Barlow, about these improvements and the new summer activities you can now enjoy.
An All-Star weekend in Seattle as the Major League Baseball's best come together for the All-Star game. How fans are getting in on the action. Go back to NBC3 News at 6. There are big things happening in Oswego with renovations to the harbor and activities for people, including nighttime tiki boat tours. Brandon Roth has more information on what's going on the waterfront of Oswego.
Well, we are on board the SS Ontario, one of two tiki boats that the city is using for the Sunset Tiki Tours. Oswego Mayor Billy Barlow, and these have been a huge hit.
They have. We do about 110 tours a summer. This is the second summer we've done it. They've sold out in about 14 minutes this year.
It's part of the whole revitalization of the harbor, and it starts with a big expansion of all kinds of watercraft now available.
Yeah, we have a bunch of rentals here out of Wright's Landing Marina in Oswego. We have hydro bikes that are relatively new, canoes, kayaks, pedal boats, the tiki tours. We just brought in some jet ski docks that are new, both for rent and for transient jet skiers coming in off the lake. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. We have a new welcome center as well with a small gift shop and convenience store in case you're heading out on the water and forgot something. We've been a waterfront community since we began back in the 1840s, but never really capitalized on it. I mean, not every community, especially in central New York, is a waterfront community. You kind of take it for granted, and we've just tried to highlight our waterfront, riverfront, the harbor. We have some of the best sunsets in the world we try to showcase. So if some of these recreational opportunities get people to the community and to the waterfront, hopefully they look around and see everything else Oswego has to offer.
And while the tiki boat tours may be sold out, there are all kinds of recreational activities both out on the water and here at the harbor. You can get a full listing at oswegony.org. We've got a link for you on our website at cnycentral.com, and we'll see you out on the water at the Oswego Harbor.
Thank you, Brandon. Tonight on NBC3 News at 11, the Powerball jackpot now up to $675 million. For tonight's drawing, we'll have those numbers for you live right at the start of NBC3 News at 11.
You could be the announcer.
$1 million.
And still ahead on NBC3 News at 6, a live look over Syracuse after a rainy day. And we are in a state of emergency in Oswego County right now. We're tracking really problematic flooding concerns there. We'll talk to Pete about all of it coming up.
Now to a crisis in the classroom. In parts of the country, some school districts are actually doing away with honors classes, getting rid of them, trying to be more equitable.
But studies show that could actually be harmful to the education of more advanced students. Angela Brown reports.
This report is coming from Helios Education Foundation. Their goal is to support post-secondary attainment for Latino, Black, and students from low-income backgrounds in Arizona and Florida. So this report covers those states.
Braxton Barr, a name you may see in lights.
What's your goals and your dreams?
My dream is to really perform around the world and sing opera because there's not a lot of young Black men like me doing this.
Planting seeds of greatness early, taking college-level courses in high school, earning credits through dual enrollment.
Why did you do it?
I wanted to get ahead.
The Helios Education Foundation is looking into the benefits of dual enrollment in AP courses using numbers from the National Student Clearinghouse, tracking tens of thousands of students, finding similar results in Florida and Arizona.
Having taken even one of these courses, an AP course or a dual enrollment course, really led to almost nearly 2 times the likelihood of you going to college.
These findings coming at a time education is shifting. Some districts moving away from honors courses, others questioning gifted programs. Peralt says accelerated courses like dual enrollment and AP have outsized benefits for students of color.
Black students that take these courses, low-income students that take these courses, Latino students, they do even better on average of going to college and staying in college too.
College students like Braxton Barr, who knocked out college courses in high school, allowing him to focus on his major earlier.
Towards my junior and senior year of college, I will probably only have no more than, I want to say 6 to 9 credit hours a semester, which is amazing, which is less money, of course. So it does help financially in the long run.
In Florida, for example, state funding covers the cost of dual enrollment for public school students, so the barrier may not be cost, but access. In Washington, D.C., I'm Angela Brown.
But we still have the weather alert tonight, Pete, and we know that there's some rain falling, but not with that intensity anymore, right?
No, and in Oswego County, which was the bullseye of the extreme rainfall, is barely seeing anything right now. Most of the rain has shifted to the east, but we're still going to watch it just in case. The best chance of any extreme rains or heavier rains in Oneida County and Madison County. So let's get right to it and talk about what's new and next, and then, of course, show you the radar and the futurecast. So tomorrow is a total turnaround for Tuesday. Well, today was basically a washout and gray. Tomorrow, plenty of sun, way warmer, upper 80s. We might even flirt with 90. And then we've got some slow systems. That doesn't mean we're going to all of a sudden have an exact carbon copy of today, but that does mean many days ahead, at the very least, we have some passing scattered showers and storms. And with the rain that we've had, especially those of us that have had a lot of rain, we're going to have to watch those cells carefully to see if there'll be more flooding. Beyond that, in summary, it's summery, which means, well, temperatures in the 80s for highs and a daily chance of scattered showers and storms. Well, today's rainfall was basically over one spot, basically central New York and points east. Notice that the area that had the worst rainfall is seeing nothing worse than a sprinkle now, so that's good. But we still have some leftover rain in Madison, Oneida, and Herkimer counties, and since it isn't moving very much, there is a small chance for some isolated minor flooding in through here, so we'll watch these areas carefully for you. Futurecast at 8 o'clock basically shows what it is right now with the steadier, heavier rain to the east. As I take you hour by hour, take a look at how slow that stuff's moving. It does get lighter, but eventually moves out at least our immediate area by late tonight, tomorrow morning, although still raining in northeastern New York and Vermont. And Vermont is in a big world of hurt right now. They're already seeing flooding and more rain, and they're going to see the water levels rise, so we're going to watch that carefully for them too. Back here locally, any patchy fog burns off, and remember, completely different type of forecast tomorrow. Way more sun and way warmer. Most of the day, we were only in the 60s. It's going to be 20 to 24 degrees warmer tomorrow, upper 80s and a flirting with 90. There's a tiny chance of a thunderstorm late afternoon, but most spots won't see it. Over my shoulder, it's one of those slow systems moving in. And while the immediate push shows it kind of falling apart, it's kind of hanging out Wednesday so that clouds and sun brings a renewed chance of passing scattered showers and storms on Wednesday. That system is still nearby so that a new wave of showers and storms moves in and then out and back into our area on Thursday morning and again afternoon, evening, and overnight. So be aware of that. That's really our next main weather system. It's the one coming through Wednesday and then yet again Thursday into Friday. Temperatures in the lower 80s. Early call for the weekend is this. Probably dry for at least the first half to 2/3 of Saturday, and that's why we'll be close to or just under 90. Late afternoon through Sunday morning, new chances of showers and storms. Stanley Law Skywatch. Regency Tower camera, it's still cloudy, but it hasn't rained during the show. Back inside.
Pete, thanks. Stay up to date with your forecast by downloading our Weather Authority app. You can scan the QR code on your screen.
Next in sports, the All-Star break in Major League Baseball. They're playing the game in Seattle. Some of the fans are becoming the stars themselves. Tonight, Major League Baseball's best power hitters will be taking part in the Home Run Derby. The All-Star game is tomorrow night at T-Mobile Park. The week's festivities spreading out throughout the Emerald City of Seattle, including Lumen Field, which is also home to the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, it is a big weekend full of sports, tourists, and excitement. Hannah Knowles reports on how some fans are getting the chance to be an MLB star for the day.
It's an all-star weekend in the Emerald City.
I think it's a big deal. I think this is showing that this city, has something to offer. And
fans dressed head to toe in baseball gear inside a football stadium. Now that's a first in Seattle history.
The day has been amazing. Not only have I never thought I'd actually be standing on Lumen Field, but all of these different events, it's been great.
Everywhere you look, smiles on people's faces, fans young and old practicing their pitch and perfecting their swing.
It's like a carnival, but for baseball. So if you really like baseball a lot, You should just come here.
Just like Sam Perkins, kids of all ages spent the day living like a baseball star.
It's awesome. He's in a wheelchair, and this has been really accessible for us, and we've gotten some autographs and met some really amazing people, and then he even just was able to play some baseball.
Micah and his parents are avid sports fans. He's 13 years old and an athlete at heart.
He is an athlete, so he has actually completed 39 marathons. He's used to athletics and he loves athletics, and so being out here and doing this is just awesome.
Once you head inside Lumen Field, the experience completely changes. Virtual reality, real-time attractions, and a huge store to find the perfect Mariners swag.
Oh, this is great. You know, I came to the first one back in 2001. This is so much better.
In Seattle, Hannah Knowles, Como News.
I remember going to one of these with my dad.
Oh, you did?
As a kid. And, you know, you had your little notes with who you were crossing
It's
off.
it is the best all-star game
So
of any
fun.
sport. The baseball all-star.
So memorable. That'll do it for us tonight at 6. I'm Megan Coleman.
I'm Matt Mulcahy. We'll see you tonight for the CW6 News at 10 and NBC3 News at 11. See you then.